eCapitol News Director Sean Ashley joins us now with more on what took place this week at the Capitol. Sean, the wind tax credit has been in the crosshairs this legislative session. What's the latest?
Well, on Thursday, the House of Representatives voted to end that tax credit effective at the end of this fiscal year, June 30th, 2017. These tax credits give refunds to wind energy companies, essentially, based on the amount of power that they produce, and they're quite costly to the state, and they've been criticized because of that. The Incentive Evaluation Commission also reviewed them and recommended that they be terminated at some point in the future. According to House Speaker Charles McCall, this will save the state approximately $50 million a year, or nearly $500 million over 10 years. Now, those credits that are withstanding will be paid out over the next several years, at which point then they will be terminated and no more money will be paid out.
It looks like a proposed increase in the cigarette tax won't be heard in the House this month. Why is that?
That's correct. House Speaker Charles McCall said Thursday that rather than send that bill to the floor, what they would do is wait until later in the session and run that through as part of the budget package, part of the Joint Committee on Appropriations and Budget process, which allows new bills to be heard later in the legislative session. That's kind of unusual because the bill was considered by the House Appropriations and Budget Committee back on February 13th, where it passed 17-10. The problem is, since that bill passed the House Appropriations and Budget Committee, a number of Republicans in both the House and the Senate have come out and expressed their opposition to increasing taxes, including the cigarette tax. It would take 76 votes to pass the bill in the House, and it seems unlikely that they would have that. So it appears they're pushing it back until such a time as they have a whole budget package put together and can make it part of that.
And speaking of that, can you give us an update on Oklahoma's budget situation?
Well, there hasn't been a lot of movement as of late. What we have seen is that the House of Representatives has asked state agencies what impact a 14.5% budget cut would have on their operations in the coming fiscal year. House Appropriations and Budget Chairwoman Leslie Osborne indicated that number was arrived at by holding common education steady, funding the teacher's pay raise approved by the House of Representatives, and then not passing any revenue measures. Across the rotunda in the Senate, they began a series of what Senate President Pro Tem Mike Scholes said would be regular meetings to update members on the budget itself, how it's written, the types of revenues they're looking at, and what some of the alternatives might be. Representative Jason Dunnington tweeted out on Friday, "All is quiet on the recurring revenue front." And he's exactly right. No new revenue measures have been put before the House, much like the cigarette tax, so it looks like we'll be waiting until May before we see what those revenue measures are and what the budget may look like.
Looks pretty bleak. Sean Ashley with eCapitol, thanks for joining us.
You're very welcome.